TitleMatchNetwork.com.
What was the event surrounding the night you and Jeff Jarrett walked out after the match with Shawn Michaels?
They piss tested me that night, and I was dirty as all dirt, and so I was mad about that from the get go. It was like they weren't piss testing anybody but me, and of course they weren't. I was the newest one, and looking back, it makes sense to me, but at the time it didn't. So I was mad. So we went out, we did the match, we did it how we were supposed to do. I was supposed to leave Jeff laying at the end. I was gonna help him up, and he was gonna push me or something, and I was gonna deck him and leave him laying. And then the next pay-per-view was going to be a triangle match between the Roadie and Jeff Jarrett and Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental title, and that would have been the biggest thing to them, in my life ever. So it was the stupidest thing I ever done, but I was really just following Jeff, and because we had talked a lot, and a lot of guys that we were working with were getting paid 3 and 4 times what we were getting paid, and we thought, hey, we're in that match too. You know what I mean? Sid one time made 3 times what I made. I understand he's a lot more marketable than me because he's huge and he's Psycho Sid, and I'm just the road dog. But we had a hell of a tag match one time. Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels against. Who was it? Razor Ramon and. Somebody anyway, Razor and somebody against Jeff and Shawn Michaels, and like right before we went, we had this tag match down pat. Kevin Nash and Razor Ramon against there it goes. So we had this match down pat. We had done it all over the United States. We were going to Germany with it. Germany at the time was still selling every seat out and standing room only, and anything you did got a pop. And so we knew we had to go over there for 8 days. We were taking this tag match over there as the main event every night, and we had it down pat. It was so fun and so good, that it was just like the best match I've ever seen. You know what I mean? I'd love to watch it right now. And so the night before, I don't even know if this has anything to do with your question.
That's all right.
Yeah, it better be, because I'm finishing the damn story. We took the night before we go. Sid comes out and turns on Shawn Michaels. So then Shawn's hurt, right? He powerbombed like 4 times or something. You might remember that. I don't know. But so then Sid takes Shawn's place. Now it's Jeff and Sid. And so I'm the roadie. It's a big monkey wrench in a match like that. When we had Shawn and Jeff as the heels and me on the outside to feed up and feed in and when the time's right. So here we got Sid in the match now, and it was just like blew our whole Germany trip. And he got paid like 6 times more than we did, and he actually screwed the match up, and we had to bump extra, double time to make up for it, to make it good, and he got paid so many times. So we talked about it, and we were going to get out of there, and that's all there was to it. So after the match, he was laying down. He got super kicked, 1, 2, 3, whatever, chin music, whatever they call it. I got down to Jeff. I said, Jeff, what are you doing? He said, I'm walking out of here right now. He said, you do whatever you want to do. He goes, stand in the ring, do whatever you want to do. He said, but I'm walking out right now. I said, well, screw it, I'm walking with you. And we got up, and he already had his stuff packed. And I didn't have my stuff packed, so he was out the door and gone. And so everybody saw him leave, and they knew we didn't do the gimmick. Well, I had to go get unchanged to get my bags and everything, so they all came running to me. And I was just hot by then. I just cussed everybody out and told them to get out of the way. Yeah, I left.
You said before you regretted it, but at what point did you realize you made a mistake?
About 3 months into working for
USWA.
Yeah, USWA. I mean, I wasn't. They were taking better care of me than they were anybody else there. But from what I was making in the WWF to drop to what I was making then, it was just. And the miles were, we're still making that Memphis to Louisville, which is 6.5 hours one way, and I mean, it was just a bad drop off, in pay, and it sucked.
What was the feedback from your dad and your brothers after?
Oh yeah, they wanted me to call them back and get back up there. They were really disappointed that that I had left. That none of them really knew Jeff at the time either. You know, so they didn't know that me and Jeff had talked about it. They thought I was just going with Jeff because he asked me to go with him or something. But it really wasn't like that at all. I made my own decision. Like I said, I regretted it later. But I thought, to tell you the truth, I thought we were right at the time. People working in the same match with us, and we were the heels. So it's very important to have a good heel, or your baby face is a nobody. And I just feel like you shouldn't pay him twice what you're paying me if I'm here doing the same job he's doing, you know. And so we left.
When you and Jeff left, was there ever any attempt for either of you to work for ECW?
No, neither. Not that Jeff's very hush hush about he's a good businessman, and he's hush hush about his business. So they may have contacted him, but like I said, he's the kind of guy that wouldn't have told me that. You know what I mean? And you got to respect that, because there's people like me who run their mouth all the time and seem to get in trouble more often. But there was never even any opportunity for me at all. They never contacted me. I never tried to contact them. At the time I looked down, I thought what they were doing was silly. And in hindsight, I see that they had a hell of a cult following, and they you know what I mean. It may have been a place for somebody like me to have made even a better name for himself, really, because they really had a cult following that I thought was second to none. You know what I mean? You got WWF fans and you got wrestling fans, but the MACW fans were committed. They were definitely authentic.
What was your feud like with Jeff Jarrett down there in USWA?
I loved it. I loved it. To tell you the truth, we had such good matches together, and I don't know if we drew as much. We drew money, but I don't think we drew as much as me and Brian Christopher did, because the people almost didn't want to see it, because they wanted to see us together more, you know, and it was like they almost didn't want to see it. But we did have great matches together. Our timing against each other as well as together is just incredible. And it made me think, damn, I wish we would have given this to the WWF. You know what I mean? It made me regret leaving more, because after Sean was going to beat us both in the triangle by me and Jeff doing something to one another, you know what I mean, or whatever. And so then it was going to be me versus Jeff for a while. And it would have just been some great pay-per-view matches and great paydays for me. And that's just one more thing that makes me regret it.
Did they promise you anything at that point? Go back to WWF for a second. When they were to split you and Jeff up, was there any promises made to you as far as what they were going to do with your character?
No. I was so young in the business that they didn't talk to me about that stuff yet. You know what I mean? They didn't. That stuff's on a need-to-know basis, and until you learn that, hey, it's about me, I need to know. You know, you don't even question it. You just, and especially that early in my career and that high on the totem pole, so to speak. It was incredible for me. You know, I wasn't asking nobody nothing. I was just on the ride. You know.
Eventually, Jeff went to WCW. Did they ever attempt to bring you in, or did you feel let down that they didn't bring you in?
No, I didn't feel let down that they didn't bring me in. It's all business. It's who they want, who they need. They may not. I'm so-called trouble, and Jeff is not. You know, they might not have wanted that trouble, and I wasn't let down at all. The only thing that did let me down a little bit was that Jeff never told me he was going there. And but I talked to, me and Jeff were close enough to where I didn't just dwell on that. I talked to Jeff about it, and he said, and he told me the exact same thing. He said, man, I didn't want you to feel bad, so I didn't know how to talk to you about it, so I just didn't. And I'm sorry, you know what I mean? We talked about it, and that's just how we are. But that's the only thing that let me down there. I didn't really want to go to WCW. I'd rather stuck it out for a little while longer and try to get back up there, you know.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.